Hello, this is Brett Latham. Welcome back to Lathanomics. Today we're going to talk about Krugman's Module 52, Defining Profit. That's really important in microeconomics. We're going to be talking about profit the whole rest of the semester, all the time, and so you need to know about it. Okay, first thing is like, what is every business in business to do? Well, they want to make a profit. That's what you want, right? So how do we define profit? Okay, I need you to write this down. The word profit equals total revenue minus total cost. Write those words. Profit equals total revenue minus total cost. Then right below that, pi. Okay, in microeconomics, pi means profit. Okay, so you use the symbol for pi equals TR minus TC. So once you understand pi equals TR minus TC, and you know that's profit equals total revenue minus total cost, that's perfect. Okay, we'll be using that a lot. You'll get used to it. Okay? Now, accountants and economists think that profit's a little bit different. So we're going to get to that in a minute. But one other thing, TR, total revenue, equals P times Q, and you better know what those are, right? Price and quantity. So TR equals P times Q, that's total revenue, equals price times quantity. Okay? Total cost we'll get into some more detail in the next module or so. Okay, so we'll be there soon. Okay, so up here, I need you to draw these two things. Okay? So two boxes exactly the same size. One of them, economic profit, implicit cost, explicit cost. The other one, exact same size, accounting cost, accounting profit. Okay? In both cases, total revenue is the same. Okay? And we get two different answers. So pause the video, get that drawn. And you're back. Okay? Now, how does this work? Okay, these are the costs we know about. We pay them, right? You write checks for rent and salaries and utilities, all these various costs. Okay? And we think, well, we get a lot of revenue, subtract those costs, and we have profit. That's what accountants do. Economists do one other thing. This is what could we be doing, okay? And so there's a lot of things, like for instance, if we own a piece of land, what's our cost of owning that land? Well, the answer over here is nothing. It's like you own it, it's yours. The answer over here is, let's say the land's worth $1 million. Well then, if you sold the land, you would be able to earn revenue, okay, from something. You could earn interest, you could earn something. And so in this cost is the cost of holding that land and using it in your business versus what you could do with it otherwise. Now, I'm a teacher. If I opened a business and I made $30,000 a year, it'd be like, hey, Mr. Latham made $30,000 a year. Well, my salary is actually higher as a teacher than $30,000. So if I switch from teaching to this business where I made $30,000, I would actually incur an economic loss because I could earn, let's say it's $50,000, I could earn $50,000, I'm only making $30,000. Well, I've got a $20,000 loss. Economists would say, Mr. Latham, you're losing $20,000. Accountants would say, Mr. Latham, you're making $30,000, you're good. Okay? That's implicit cost generally. So in order to earn a profit, let's assume for a second I earn $50,000. Well then, my business, let's say, earns $80,000. Well, I'm kind of worth $50,000, right? So my value is $50,000. If I'm earning $80,000, I'm actually making more than I'm worth, which would be awesome. By the way, this is really hard to do, right? Because if you think about it, if you can make $80,000, you're probably worth $80,000. So it's not so easy to earn an economic profit, but it does happen in some circumstances, which we'll get to as we explore the course. Okay, so implicit cost, and these aren't bad to write down. Foregone salary, in other words, the salary you could have earned. If you own a business and you don't take a salary and you say, hey, my business made $50,000, well, that needs to cover your salary, and if your salary ought to be $50,000, then your business made $0. Interest income given up. If you own that land, you could have earned interest. A building or other capital, it could be rented, but is self-employed. Let's say I own my own building. Well, I could rent it to somebody else and earn income. If I'm using it myself, it's like, well, I own it. There is no cost. There is a cost. There's an implicit cost. So that's the difference between accounting and economics. You need to have that down. You need to understand that. Make sure you've written enough notes to understand what we're talking about here. Okay, so now we're just going to talk for a minute, and if you want to write anything else down, you can do that, right? Explicit cost, rent, wages, interest on debt, raw materials, pizza makers got to buy bread and sauce and pepperonis and stuff. Depreciation on equipment, you buy a car, every year it's worth a little bit less, that's depreciation. Utilities, okay, those are referred to as accounting cost, right? All of this is accounting cost. Implicit cost doesn't require any outlay of money, okay? It's measured by the value of things you could have done, okay? What does that sound like? Opportunity cost, correct, right? It includes opportunity cost right there, right? Implicit cost generally are opportunity cost. What could we have done? So once you get that, moving on. Okay, just general, yeah, you can kind of look at that, pause it for a second if you want to. I'm not going to read it to you. Okay, here where I live, Fort Walton Beach, okay, the owners of Uptown Station, we had a place that was kind of dumpy about 10, 12 years ago, and they've done a lot to improve it, okay? So they've realized they had a location and an infrastructure that was good, but they weren't doing much with it. And so they had a big opportunity cost for what they could have done. Well, they fixed it up, and now they're doing much better, okay? So they recognize, hey, we got an opportunity cost of this property, its location, its structure, it's just ugly, and it needs repair. And so they made it pretty, and they repaired it, and they built a little kiddie park, and so now people bring their kids, and when they bring their kids, they shop at the stores. So they've taken advantage of this and done good things. Implicit cost. Entrepreneurs. If you know who, what's his face, Branson, whatever, what is his, I can't remember. But he's the founder of Virgin Airlines and a space program and all kinds of crazy stuff. He's worth, I don't know, $1 billion a year. He's worth a lot, okay? Do you think he mows his own lawn? And the answer is probably no. Why? Because he has all these things he needs to be doing because he's so valuable. Well, that's his implicit cost, okay? So same thing, lots of rich people. Okay, and we're going to, you hear all that. Yeah. Okay, we're here at the school, and you have announcements and stuff, so welcome to real life, right? Okay, here's a detailed example of it. It's table 52.1 in your books. Okay, here it says explicit cost of going to college, $19,500, $20,000 a year. Okay, well, the implicit cost is you could be working, and if you're working really hard, you can make $35,000 a year. So your real cost is almost $55,000 a year. Guess what? Not everyone should be going to college because that's a lot of money. Now, by the way, you should be going to college because you're in an AP class, okay? But there's other people that aren't. Maybe their time would be better off working instead of piling up a bunch of debt and all that kind of stuff and paying for all these things, okay? So you can see the cost of college is only $20,000. The cost of college, including the salary, give up $35,000. Your largest cost of going to college isn't tuition. It's actually what you could be making, especially if you're working a lot of hours, right? So that's explicit. That's an example. Okay. Yeah, we got all this good stuff. This is kind of what we've been talking about. So economic profit. Let's get this one equation here, though. Economic profit, total revenue minus explicit minus implicit cost. Okay, and you might want to make a note again, once again, opportunity cost to be included in there. So make sure you get like the distinction between accounting profit and economic profit. Okay, those are really, really important because you'll be tested on that. You'll see that on the final exam, on the AP exam. Okay, here's kind of a little detailed chart. Take a look real quick, and what you see is depending on what Babette's salary could be as a, I think Babette's a chef maybe. Yeah, got to be a chef or cafe owner. Depending on what salary Babette could earn somewhere else, she could end up with a economic profit of $2,000 or an economic loss of $2,000 or something different. This is just kind of an example, might help you better understand in your book. Okay, important concept. Break even, normal profit, okay? economic profit equals 0. In other words, let's say I'm worth 50,000. Whatever I'm doing, as long as I'm making 50,000, I would have an economic profit of 0. So if I change from teaching to some business, let's say I decided these videos were so great, yeah, that's not happening. But if I did and I would do just videos, kind of like Mr. Clifford, he made this analysis. He's like, hey, I can make so much from teaching. I'm going to do this video stuff, and I'm going to do stuff about economics, and he's really good at it, okay? And he's going to, he had to make this decision. I'm making so much from teaching. Can I make more than that doing these videos? And hopefully he is, because I really enjoy his videos. They're great review videos. He doesn't do so many teaching videos, and so he's leaving that to me for now. Okay, so if I can cover all these costs, then I want to do it. If I can't, then I wouldn't. And let's see if we haven't learned anything today. Okay, first one. Which of the following is an example of an implicit cost of going out to lunch? Pause the video, answer the question. And we're back. The amount of the tip, now that's cash. That's explicit. Total bill, explicit. Cost of gas, I wrote a check. Actually, I handed him my debit card, but the value of the time you spent eating lunch, yes, right? What could I have been doing? I could have been doing something else. Does that have a value? Maybe it does. Okay, if it does, then that would be an implicit cost. So the answer is D. Which of the following is an implicit cost of attending college? You better not miss this one. You're pausing the video, and yeah, it's foregone salary, right? We just talked about it. That's the kind of question that would actually be on the AP exam. So always good to know. Which of the following is the best definition of accounting profit? Accounting, not economic, accounting profit. Pause the video. And we're back. Okay. Minus total revenue, minus depreciation, and explicit cost. Yeah, that sounds right, doesn't it? Okay, so let's make a little mark. Looks like it's right. Implicit, no, there's nothing that would be implicit. Even economic includes implicit, but not just implicit. Total explicit plus implicit, actually that sounds like economic profit, doesn't it? So that's not it. Opportunity cost, no. Explicit cost plus opportunity, no, that's opportunity cost again. So the answer really is A. 4, which of the following is considered when calculating economic profit but not accounting profit? You better get this one. Pause the video. And we're back. Okay. What's in economic but not accounting? Implicit cost. That was easy, I hope. Okay, number 5, you've got to do an actual calculation and read the question and go for it. Pause the video. And we're back. Okay, your accounting profit for selling shirts is, okay, here we go. 100 shirts per game, $10. That has a name. What's that name? Total revenue. Cost $5. 100 times 5 equals minus $500. We use brackets. Okay? Those are explicit cost. Okay? So we're now down to 500, but it says we got to work 2 hours. And we could make $8. So we have to subtract our opportunity cost. We could earn $16. We're not going to. And you get your accounting profit is $500. And your economic profit is $484, right? Accounting, 1,000 minus 500. For economic, you take out your opportunity cost, which was $16. Okay? That's your introduction to profit, total revenue, and a little bit of total cost too, and especially economic profit versus accounting profit, which is really important, and you will definitely see on the AP exam every May. So that's it for Mr. Latham and Lathanomics today. We'll see you next time. We're out.